And to us, she was the people's princess. But to William and Harry, she was simply the best mom in the world.
This secluded house in Wiltshire belongs to Camilla Parker Bowles, and it's not very far from Highgrove, Prince Charles's country retreat.
Who truly lived the royal dream, Princess Diana or Queen Camilla? Their homes tell captivating stories of love, loss, and life away from the spotlight. From Diana's childhood at Park House to her years at Kensington Palace and Camilla's peaceful retreat at Ray Mill House, each home holds a unique place in their lives. With their rivalry over King Charles, how do their houses compare? Which one is more luxurious? In this video, we'll take a look at the homes of Princess Diana and Queen Camilla to find out. Princess Diana's houses. First off, did you know that even before marrying into the royal family, Princess Diana already had access to some truly spectacular homes? The places she lived in before her wedding to Prince Charles were just as impressive as those she moved into afterward. Over the years, Diana, the Princess of Wales, called several stunning properties home. From estates connected to both sides of her family to a London flat and even royal residences, her homes tell an incredible story of her life. Lady Diana Spencer was born in July 1961 at Park House, a charming home located on the royal family's Sandringham estate in Norfolk, England. Who owned this house? What was Princess Diana's life like inside the house? Stay tuned, the most interesting part is still ahead. Park House was the family home of Diana's mother, Frances. Interestingly, Frances's mother had been a lady-in-waiting to the Queen Mother. Park House itself has a fascinating history. It was built in 1863 by the future King Edward VII, just a year after he acquired Sandringham. The 10-bedroom Victorian home was originally constructed for Sir William Knollys, who was the comptroller of Edward's household at the time. Diana lived at Park House until 1976, when her father inherited Althorp House, the Spencer family's grand estate near Northampton. In Diana, a portrait by Rosalind Coward, Diana's brother, Charles Spencer, fondly described their childhood home. He called it the best place to grow up and shared how wonderful it was to have a huge garden, a swimming pool, and a tennis court. He said that it was a very lovely environment for anyone to grow up in, and that they didn't realize how lucky they were.
Here and do something useful for Diana, and I decided the first thing that needed to be done was to find somebody to write and deliver the eulogy.
After Diana's family moved out, Park House was later transformed into a hotel designed to cater to disabled guests. Sadly, the charity running it had to stop operations in 2020. At just 14 years old, Diana moved to Althorp House with her family. This stunning Grade 1 listed estate spans an incredible 13,000 acres and has been in the Spencer family for over 500 years. Althorp boasts over 90 rooms, including the breathtaking 115-foot-long picture gallery with Tudor wood paneling and the gorgeous Georgian-style Wooton Hall. Fun fact, Diana used Wooton Hall as her personal tap dancing space. Diana's story takes an interesting turn at Althorp, where she first met Prince Charles in November 1977. At the time, Charles was dating her sister Sarah and had joined her for a shooting weekend at the estate. Years later, after Diana's untimely death in 1997, she was laid to rest on a small island in Round Oval, a peaceful lake on the Althorp grounds. In 1979, 18-year-old Diana moved to London and bought a flat at Coleherne Court, South Kensington, with £50,000 inherited from her American great-grandmother. She lived in Flat 60, renting rooms to friends for £18 a week while working as a nanny and at a kindergarten. Earlier this year, a flat in the building was listed for £3.15 million. During her engagement to Charles, she moved to Clarence House, built in the 1820s for the Duke of Clarence. It housed royals like Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip early in their marriage, and the Queen Mother until 2002. Now, it's home to Charles and Camilla. After their wedding, Diana and Charles moved to Kensington Palace, a Jacobean mansion known as Queen Victoria's birthplace, and home to royals like Princess Margaret, William, Kate, Harry, and Meghan. Diana hired Dudley Poplack to style their 3-floor apartment with elegant, modern country house decor. The 3rd floor was a nursery by Dragons of Walton Street. Diana stayed at Kensington Palace after her divorce, where her statue now stands in the sunken garden. During her marriage, Diana lived at Highgrove House, a Georgian neoclassical estate Charles bought in 1980. Like Kensington Palace, she had Dudley Poplack furnish it. But she disliked the 9-bedroom home, associating it with heavy furniture, horses, and its closeness to Camilla, just 45 minutes away.
We're going to turn now to a look at King Charles' private estate in the English countryside, Highgrove House, where His Majesty personally designed the gardens with a focus on being sustainable and eco-friendly.
Recently, Diana's former family home at 24 Farm Street made headlines, selling for $14.2 million in under 100 hours, the fastest sale in Mayfair this year. Built in the 1980s, the elegant 4-story, 5-bedroom house features a first-floor library, Diana's father's favorite room, and a dining room with bold red walls inspired by Althorp House, Diana's final resting place. The bedrooms are luxurious and sophisticated, with antique furniture, marble bathrooms, and a south-facing roof terrace perfect for enjoying London's rare sunny days. Bookshelves line the house, making it a dream for anyone who loves a good read, especially on royal family history. The library, a standout feature of the home, held a special place in John Spencer's heart. The story of how the Spencers acquired 24 Farm Street is just as fascinating. Diana's father, John Spencer, purchased the house in 1990 as a gift for his second wife, Countess Rain Spencer, a well-known British socialite. Sadly, John Spencer passed away just 2 years later, leaving Rain in full ownership of the property. Princess Diana's relationship with her stepmother was famously strained during her father's life, but the two reconciled during Diana's divorce from Prince Charles. It was during this period that Diana started visiting the house more frequently. She spent time with Rain, but also retreated to the library, where she often sat alone for hours. Camilla's Queen Consort luxurious house. Queen Camilla also has a luxurious home, more like a secret escape where she loves indulging in her guilty pleasures, even though King Charles isn't exactly a fan of the place. The royal family is known for owning an impressive collection of homes across the country, many of which are bought with personal funds and aren't part of the crown estate. One such property is Camilla's private home, Ray Mill House, located in Wiltshire. She purchased this stunning mansion in 1994 after her divorce from Andrew Parker Bowles, and lived there full-time between 1996 and 2003. Ray Mill is more than just a getaway. It's a deeply personal space for the Queen Consort. The home, which served as the backdrop for official birthday portraits taken by Kate Middleton to mark Camilla's 75th birthday, features in Country Life magazine.
It's Ray Mill House, which is her bolt hole, which I'm told she's going to keep even when she's queen. So this is where she goes to escape.
The issue was extra special as Camilla Guest edited it to celebrate her milestone birthday and the magazine's 125th anniversary. Despite having access to grand royal residences like Buckingham Palace and Highgrove House, Camilla often retreats to Ray Mill for some downtime. Ray Mill House in Wiltshire, bought by Camilla in the mid-1990s for £850,000 after her first marriage ended, is her personal sanctuary, just 15 minutes from Highgrove. The property features a swimming pool, terrace, stables, sprawling gardens, and a river, offering a relaxed and welcoming atmosphere. Camilla enjoys unwinding here with a gin and tonic, barefoot, watching her favorite show, Coronation Street, which Charles reportedly dislikes. Unlike Charles's preference for tidiness, Camilla keeps the house laid back, leaving things as she likes. It's also a family hub, hosting her daughter Laura Lopez's wedding reception in 2006. Interior designer Deepa Mehta Sagar described the home as combining comfort and understated elegance, reflecting Camilla's countryside-loving personality and earning her the nickname of a country girl. Even as Queen Consort, Ray Mill remains a place where she can truly be herself, enjoying simple pleasures far from royal formalities. Ray Mill House is surrounded by acres of lush gardens with stables, an outdoor swimming pool, and a charming terrace. Huge windows offer stunning views of the greenery, making it clear how much Camilla treasures nature and the outdoors. The interiors are equally impressive, with warm wooden detailing and dark wood furnishings that create a balance of luxury and coziness. This house exudes Camilla's down-to-earth and approachable vibe. This isn't just a retreat, but a home with deep personal meaning. Camilla spent many years at Ray Mill before moving in with King Charles in 2003, and she continues to visit regularly. It's a place where she spends quality time with her children and grandchildren, far away from the prying eyes of the public. With its vast open spaces and peaceful surroundings, it's the perfect escape from the busyness of royal life. Camilla's love for the outdoors and gardening shines through in the way the property is maintained. The gardens, sprawling and vibrant, are a nod to her passion for nature and her need for a tranquil, private space. The relationship between Princess Diana and Camilla. Both Princess Diana and Camilla Parker Bowles shared something in common. They were both married to King Charles and lived in beautiful homes.
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
But beyond the surface, their stories are deeply emotional and filled with drama. The love triangle between Diana, Charles, and Camilla is one of the most gripping chapters in royal history and has even been explored in The Crown. While they're often portrayed as rivals, the truth about their relationship is much more complicated. Charles had dated Camilla before her marriage to Andrew Parker Bowles, and their connection didn't end there. Even while married to Andrew, Camilla reportedly continued her relationship with Charles well into the late 1970s.
It's very rare for Camilla to speak openly about how she feels about when she was very intensely criticised and scrutinised, and she really was. For many years, she was reviled.
Interestingly, Andrew seemed aware of it and didn't appear to object. How did this end? Was Camilla Charles' first wife? You're at the edge of your seat and it's about to get even better. Charles and Diana's whirlwind romance changed everything. Early on, Diana was on friendly terms with Camilla, often visiting her home, Bolahide Manor, and helping with her children. At 19, Diana looked up to Camilla, who was 14 years older and acted as a mentor. They even supported Charles together at a race, with Camilla helping Diana adjust to public life. The friendship continued as Diana and Charles grew serious. After their 1981 engagement, Camilla invited Diana to lunch, where they laughed and gossiped, but Diana later suspected Camilla was trying to figure out when she could meet Charles alone. Before the wedding, cracks began to show. Diana became uneasy about Charles and Camilla's bond, especially after finding a bracelet Charles had gifted Camilla, engraved with initials linked to their private nicknames. This discovery deeply hurt Diana and fueled her suspicions.
But I was actually crying out because I wanted to get better in order to go forward and continue my duty and my role as wife, mother, Princess of Wales.
Things didn't get better after the wedding. On their honeymoon, Diana was reportedly devastated to find a photo of Camilla tucked into Charles's diary. In the early years of Diana's marriage to Charles, Camilla kept her distance. Reports suggest she avoided events where the royal couple would be present, but by the mid-1980s, Diana became convinced that Charles had rekindled his romance with Camilla. One striking moment came in 1989, when Diana surprised Charles and his friends at a party for Camilla's sister. It was there that Diana confronted Camilla, making it clear she wasn't happy. When Camilla reportedly pointed out that Diana already had public adoration and beautiful children, Diana's response made her feelings very clear. She wanted her husband. After that confrontation, the two women had little to no contact. Charles and Camilla continued their relationship as his marriage with Diana unraveled. By 1995, Diana's interview with Martin Bashir shocked the world as she hinted at a love triangle, saying her marriage felt crowded.
No, I don't. No.
Why do you think that?
I'd like to be a queen of people's hearts, in people's hearts. But I don't see myself being queen of this country.
A year earlier, Charles admitted to his affair, calling his marriage to Diana irretrievably broken. After their 1996 divorce,
it is announced from Buckingham Palace that, with regret, the Prince and Princess of Wales have decided to separate.
Diana and Charles became more amicable, co-parenting William and Harry, though Diana never reconciled with Camilla. Camilla faced heavy public criticism, especially after Diana's tragic death in 1997. Over time, it became clear their marital issues went beyond Camilla, as Diana was much younger and very different from Charles. Out of respect, Charles and Camilla waited until 2005 to marry, with Camilla choosing not to take the title Princess of Wales. She has since become a trusted support to Charles and earned the affection of William and Harry, proving her role as a beloved royal is more than a rivalry with Diana. Princess Diana's marriage to the royal family and the controversies that trailed her life after brought her to the limelight. But she had quite an eventful life, even before then. Let's delve into when and how it all started. Diana was born on the 1st of July, 1961, to Edward John Spencer, the Viscount Althorp, and Frances Ruth Burke Roche, who later became known as the Honorable Frances Shand Kidd. She was born as Diana Frances Spencer, and later became Lady Diana Spencer in 1975.
Above all, we give thanks for the life of a woman. I'm so proud to be able to call my sister the unique, the complex, the extraordinary and irreplaceable Diana, whose beauty, both internal and external, will never be extinguished from our minds.
After her father inherited the Earl Spencer title, her connection to the royal family is evident in her place of birth. Princess Diana was born at Park House, a home that her parents rented on Queen Elizabeth II's estate in Sandringham, England.
The former home of Elizabeth's head gardener on her Sandringham estate can be rented for about $400 a night next February for a minimum of 3 nights.
The royal family frequently holidayed at the neighboring Sandringham House.
London. Queen Mary left Marlborough House for Sandringham, where the royal Christmas was to be spent as a family party.
And Diana played with Princes Andrew and Edward. With such a noble background, how did Diana's early life lead to her eventual fate and controversial life? Get ready for the most epic moment of the video. Diana was the youngest daughter of her parents, and she had 2 older sisters, Jane Fellows and Sarah McCorquodale, and a younger brother, Charles Spencer, 9th Earl Spencer. She had another brother, John, but he died in infancy a year before Diana was born.
From her mother's devastating loss of a baby boy, she was never allowed to hold her first son.
Both of her grandmothers, Cynthia Spencer and Ruth Roche, were ladies-in-waiting to Queen Mother Elizabeth. After losing John, her parents were hoping for another boy to carry on the family line, and so they didn't choose a name for a week after her birth until they settled on Diana Frances after her mother and Lady Diana Spencer, a great-aunt who was also a prospective Princess of Wales as a potential bride for Frederick, Prince of Wales. Diana was also nicknamed Dooch within the family because of her duchess-like attitude in childhood. On August 30th, 1961, Diana was baptized at St. Mary Magdalene Church, Sandringham. Despite her birth as the 3rd child and 4th born of the family, her parents still wanted a male to be their heir, and this really put a strain on their marriage, especially after Lady Althorp was sent to Harley Street clinics in London to determine the cause of her inability to produce a male heir. Her younger brother Charles would later describe this sole event as humiliating and a dreadful time for his parents. It was in fact probable that this was the root cause of their divorce.
Paul Workman now on the world's most famous couple, heading for the world's most famous divorce.
Diana was 7 years old when her parents divorced, and her mother went on to marry Peter Shand Kidd in 1969. Diana still lived with her mother in London immediately after her parents' separation in 1967. But after going on holiday to her father's home during the Christmas holiday that same year, her father, Lord Althorp, refused to let his daughter return to London. Shortly after, he won custody of Diana with the support of his former mother-in-law, Lady Fermoy. In 1976, Diana's father married Rain, Countess of Dartmouth. Their step-family relationship wasn't typical. Diana didn't get along with her stepmother and often called her a bully, even pushing her downstairs once. She described her childhood as very unhappy and unstable. After her father inherited the Earl Spencer title in 1975, she became Lady Diana. The family moved from Park House to Althorp, their estate in Northamptonshire. For schooling, Diana was initially homeschooled by her governess, Gertrude Allen. Later, she attended Sillifurled Private School in King's Lynn, Norfolk, beginning her formal education there. This upbringing shaped Diana's early years, marked by family tensions and transitions. Her strained relationship with her stepmother and the move to Althorp were significant events that influenced her upbringing and perspective on life. When she was 9, she moved to Riddlesworth Hall School, an all-girls boarding school near Thetford. Later on, in 1973, she joined her sisters at West Heath Girls' School in Sevenoaks, Kent. But her academics largely suffered because of her bad performance in school, which some say is probably a result of her strained childhood and her parents' divorce and remarriage, which she largely witnessed. She even failed her O-levels twice. In spite of this, Diana stood out in terms of community service, and this outstanding spirit was recognized with an award from her school, West Heath. What she lacked in academics, she made up for in community engagement. She left West Heath when she was 16, and up until that point, her brother Charles says she was a very shy young lady. She also had great skills, including her excellent musical ability as a skilled pianist.
It's a well-known story told in an unexpected way, set to music on a Broadway stage.
I choose a fresh new start.
Diana the musical is framed around the Princess of Wales' relationship with Prince Charles.
She was an excellent swimmer and diver, and she also studied ballet and tap dance. It was only academics that was not her forte. Between 1979 and 1981, Diana lived at Coleherne Court in Chelsea, London. In 1978, she started a mini-career in line with her passion for children, working as a nanny for Philippa and Jeremy Whittaker in Hampshire. She attended a finishing school in Rougemont, Switzerland for one term, but left after Easter 1978. Back in London, she shared her mother's flat with two friends from school. In London, Diana took an advanced cooking course and worked various low-paying jobs. She was a dance instructor for youth until a skiing accident caused her to miss 3 months of work. Then, she worked as a playgroup preschool assistant, did cleaning for her sister Sarah, and acted as a hostess at parties. She also babysat for the Robertsons, an American family in London, and worked as a nursery teacher's assistant at the Young England School in Pimlico. In July 1979, her mother bought her a flat at Coleherne Court as an 18th birthday present. She lived there with 3 flatmates until February 25, 1981. It's amazing how she got involved with Prince Charles after such an eventful life. Royal marriage, sons' births, and lingering controversies. Diana and Prince Charles met in 1977 in unusual circumstances.
The love story between Prince Charles and Lady Diana is particularly steep in royal history, around which many rumors have surfaced up to this day.
As Charles was dating her sister Sarah, none of them could have imagined their future together. Charles thought she was jolly, and after his relationship with Sarah ended in 1978, they stayed friends. Diana attended Charles's 30th birthday party in Buckingham Palace in November 1978, and in January 1979, she met Charles again at a weekend shooting party at Sandringham as a guest of Queen Elizabeth II. Later in the summer of 1980, Diana and Prince Charles met again at a house party hosted by her friend Philip de Pass in New Grove. After observing her shy nature and wise way of speaking, Charles considered her a potential girlfriend, despite their 13-year age gap. While sitting on a bale of hay at a post-polo barbecue, Diana sympathized with Charles over the loss of his great-uncle, Lord Mountbatten. Her comforting words struck a nerve, and he decided to pursue a relationship with her.
It's always easy to be smart in hindsight, but when you look at this couple's soap opera of body language throughout their marriage and before their marriage.
Did her words make him fall in love? Don't miss the next scene where things get even more interesting. After this, Prince was keen to spend more time with Diana, and he invited her to Balmoral to join him and a group of friends there for a summer holiday. This delighted Diana in no small measure, as she was beginning to adore Charles. After meeting about 13 times, Prince Charles proposed to Diana. He was said to be largely influenced by his father, Prince Philip, who TD'd him in a memo to stop playing the field and get married. His father had said, "You either marry this girl or let her go." Being confused as ever, he took this to mean that his father wanted her to marry Diana, and he proposed to her on February 3, 1981, after a few months of dating at Windsor Castle. Diana was so surprised that she first thought it a joke, but it was real. Prince Charles was damn serious. The formal engagement press call was on February 24, 1981, when after Beijing asked by reporters if they are in love, Diana had replied with certainty while Charles had said, "Whatever in love means." In March 1981, Charles flew to Australia and New Zealand for 5 weeks, leaving his newly betrothed behind. She's spotted crying at Heathrow Airport upon his departure, not because she is sad, but because before he left, he had taken a phone call with Camilla Parker Bowles, his ex. Notwithstanding all these, they got married on July 39, 1981 at St. Paul's Cathedral, with 2,650 guests, and a television audience of around 750 million people watching. Charles was wary of going through with the marriage, but he didn't want to let the royal family down. It would look as though Prince Charles was more eager to find a qualified bride than to actually find a love match. Although he was struck by some of her qualities, it wasn't necessarily love, considering that he was still very much in sync with his ex-girlfriend Camilla, a major problem that would later cause much problems in the marriage. Some believe that Prince Charles married Diana because he needed someone who would fit into the royals' family requirement of a prince, and also to produce his own heirs to the royal throne. Princess Diana's problems began right on her wedding day, because the royal family is a subject of intense media attention. It comes with the status, and anyone who is getting into the royal family must be ready to face the odds. Media attention had always been on Prince Charles ever since he started dating. Every of his love interests have been a subject of scrutiny by the press on whether or not they were fit for the royal throne. Diana was not an exception, when on their wedding day, she broke tradition by omitting the word obey from her vows, and it generated a lot of attention and criticism from the media all at once, launching her first hand into one of the many trials of the royal family. After the couple's fairy tale wedding, Diana felt overwhelmed by her royal duties and the intense media coverage of nearly every aspect of her life. The many duties and the lack of affection from the prince meant that they spent little time together, and the princess was not having it easy. Due to this, in January 1982, 12 weeks into her pregnancy with William, Diana deliberately threw herself down the stairs at the Sandringham House royal residence in Norfolk because she had eating disorder, bulimia, and was feeling so despondent and inadequate in her marriage to Charles. But the baby was unharmed. There was a ray of hope after the birth of their first son, William, on June 21, 1982, at St. Mary's Hospital in London, and Prince Charles, having attended the broth, described the experience as astonishing. The birth of their first son deepened the relationship between Diana and the prince a little. Diana experienced postpartum depression after her pregnancy with William and found the intense media attention surrounding her pregnancy difficult to bear. In 1983, when William was just 9 months old, Diana couldn't bear to leave him behind for a 6-week tour of Australia and New Zealand. She broke royal tradition by taking him along, sparking a mixed reaction from the press, from harsh criticism to applause from parts of the public. Then, on September 15, 1984, Princess Diana gave birth to Prince Harry, with Charles by her side. Interestingly, 6 weeks before Harry's birth, Charles had thought Diana was expecting a girl. When Harry, a boy, arrived instead, Diana kept it a surprise from Charles, perhaps enjoying the closeness it brought them. But Charles's disappointment over Harry's gender and his hair color strained their marriage further. Diana felt resentful, beginning a journey of secrecy and revenge. This bitterness lingered, and years later Prince William began leaking royal secrets, drawing widespread media attention. It begs the question, why did Charles break the royal rule of secrecy, and why did both sons turn away from their father? Stay tuned, the most exciting part is just around the corner. Prince William's unveiled King Charles's secrets. In the recent royal biography Endgame, written by the royal analyst Omid Scobie, secrets and explosive claims revealed in the book about King Charles, marriage to Diana, and even under his rule were attributed to have been leaked by Prince William's. Interestingly, some claim that it is due to his overambition to become king one day that he broke the sacred code of the royal family, keeping the mouth sealed and keeping secrets. The secrets released by him corroborated the many suspicions of there being a foul play surrounding the death of Princess Diana, while also adding fresh perspectives to the long-forgotten life of Princess Diana. The news was that he leaked private information about both Harry, his brother, and King Charles. Princess Diana's death had been subject to one conspiracy theory or the other, and the most apparent one was that the driver was intoxicated. But more than this, the princess's suspicion of the royal family always plotting against her during her lifetime did not help matters. During her frustrating times with the prince, she believed at some point that Charles wanted her out of the way in order to marry his true love, Camilla. Now that you know about both royals' houses, which do you prefer? Queen Camilla's or Princess Diana's? Who truly had a house of luxury and comfort? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.